Well, hi, Jim Rogers. It's really, really great to have you here as my guest on the Business Spotlight. And you
Hi, Lee.
go
It's
ahead
good to
and
see you.
yeah, it's good to see you. We do know each other. We do have our paths have crossed many times, but it's exciting to have you here. And I'm sure that people are going to want to know what it is that you're doing in your industry because it has also been impacted as well as your clients by COVID. So you're located in Wichita, Kansas, and the firm name is James F. Rogers CPA PA. But you go by Jim.
I do.
So I will go ahead and just start asking you the questions that I had prepared. And the first one is, what do you do and for how long?
I am a CPA. We have our own office here where we do primarily tax work, some bookkeeping work. I graduated college in December 1978, and I've been doing things like that ever since. I became a CPA in, I think, 1983. I went out on my own in 1988. So I've actually been on my own with my own office here now for close to 35 years.
Oh, congratulations. That's very exciting.
Not everybody does that.
No, they don't. And you've been on your own a long time too. And
Yes,
and that's I think that speaks highly because even though you're an accountant, you're still running a business.
yes.
You're still an owner and a firm owner, and you've got employees and all the same issues your clients have. So how would you describe your best customer, and has that changed in the last, say, 5 years?
I would say that has not changed at all. When I was thinking about this morning, the first thought that came to mind was conscientious. I
Mm,
want my clients to be conscientious and want to do the right things. Okay. Uh, some of the best ones are friendly and they're intelligent and things like that. But I'm much more interested in people that are at least trying to do the right thing, follow the law, do things that are legal. I tend to get rid of people that I don't feel comfortable with doing work for.
mm.
I'm very conscious about the ethics in our profession, which are very strong, I think. And I want my clients to be pretty much the same way, I guess. So
Good for you. I think that's well stated. And I think it sometimes to get rid of a client that is you're incongruent with makes more sense for your other clients as well. You know, you've got to be who you are. So were there any business challenges that you have that you had considered or had made a necessity because of COVID?
there were a lot of them actually. It was, fairly scary when it first came around. So we did a lot of things to try and alleviate contact with our clients. Uh, for the tune of, things like when a client would drop off their paperwork, we might actually have them wait outside and we go down and pick it up from them. Our building was locked for a while.
Mm,
We could go down and let them in, but at the same time, we decided maybe it was a good idea just to go downstairs and pick up their papers, talk with them briefly, and take it back up here so that we don't spend a lot of time in front of the clients.
mhm.
So we did some things like that. We reduced our work week. We went to 4-day weeks for a while. That first year, they extended the deadline, so it wasn't quite so critical that it was actually kind of nice because we didn't have to work quite so many hours.
Mhm.
But we put up a shield in the office, in the front office where we meet with clients, a plexiglass shield. We started wearing masks and things like that. There was quite a few things that we did,
Mhm.
and for the most part, the clients understood. We tried to make notes on the web page of what our situation was and what we were doing, and it worked out fairly well. So.
Good communication. So, any of the changes that you made during COVID, are you still doing any of them, or doing anything continuing to do anything you implemented?
I can't say we're doing a lot of what we used to do. We're mostly back to normal. If we run into a situation where maybe one of our family members or somebody like that has come down with something, we may go back to wearing masks for a few days, and some things like that. We still have the shield up in the
Mhm.
office where we meet with clients. But for the most part, we're probably pretty much back to where we were before.
Did you use Zoom and technologies like we're using now with your clients during COVID at all?
Some,
Uh-huh.
not a great deal, but some, yes.
So you
Yeah.
could still do that if you had to
Yes.
do
Yeah.
that, you know. And the other thing about this technology is you can be anywhere. I mean, actually, and a CPA could be out of his office giving advice, which is kind of nice too. So you've been a business owner, you said, since 1988. You started your own firm in 88. What's your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
That's a really interesting question. When I was pondering that this morning, uh, uh, I think I've been most surprised and impressed by how much trust a client will place with us,
Hmm.
and how much that means to them. And I tell people that we understand that they're giving us very confidential information, very personal information. And so we try and make them comfortable with that. And it seems like we've been successful at that. And as a result of that, we have clients now that have been with us for almost all of those 35 years, if not even more. The longevity we have with some of our clients is just almost crazy to me, it seems like.
That's great.
But it's wonderful. And we work with people, they become long-term clients, they become long-term friends. It's just a really nice relationship. And then one of the other philosophies that we maybe have is that if we keep the client happy and do a good job, charge a reasonable fee, they're going to tell their friends.
Hmm.
And so that's one of the ways we've kind of tried to cultivate getting new clients, is trying to keep our existing clients happy. And that seems to have worked out pretty well too.
You know, we call the clients that give you referrals, we call them raving fans, and they do the work for you, right? And
Yeah,
you cannot sell yourself like a client can sell you.
yeah.
That's really good to hear. That's great. So we are going to be publishing a newsletter with this in it. So if you have any offers, do you have anything that you would like to put in the newsletter, a consultation or
We
um,
don't have anything really formal in that regard, but we
okay,
generally will be glad to meet with a client, first meeting on a free basis,
mhm,
just to get to know them, find out what their needs are,
okay.
whether we can fit into what they need.
Yeah, see if there's a good fit before you make a big decision. And I've found too that clients that jump into a relationship usually don't stay.
Right.
You know, they
Right.
want a little time to get to know you as well. So you're gonna. I don't know how you'll feel about this question since you know you're a CPA, but what do you find most inspiring about your business? Because I mean, let's face it, you've got to be inspired to be doing it as long as you've done it. So what have you found to be inspiring about?
Um, Helping people do something that they either don't want to do, or two, don't really have the expertise to do. And uh, I always tell people about one of our most rewarding experiences in this practice has been a couple of guys that started a machine shop back in the 90s. And both of them had worked for some of the aircraft plants. One of them finally quit his job, started this machine shop, and went full time eventually. The other one joined him about a year or two later. In about 15 years, they were doing about $2.5 million in sales between the two of them. Never got really big, but they became very successful. And to the point where now recently they've actually uh, transferred the business to other employees that they have inside the business by a sale agreement. And that is almost complete. So it's been an interesting and fun time working with people over a 30-year or so period, and helping them succeed and go on about what they're doing and keep the business going, transfer it to another generation, which is a challenge for a lot of businesses. And it's been very rewarding. It's been very rewarding.
That is exciting to take it from an idea to
Yeah.
all the way through to now he's going to another generation or transitioning. Yeah, you're right that it is hard to exit. Most people just give up and quit. The business just goes away. And I would think that's such a sad thing when there's usually somebody that's ready. Maybe they'll need some experience or some help with someone like yourself, the professional team that, but yes, for a business to just close is sad. I love to hear it transition. Do you like to work in with the transition to the next generation kind of thing?
Sure.
Is that okay?
And it's not, it doesn't always work. And I'm not trying to take credit for all their success or anything
Right.
either, because these were sharp guys
Sure.
and they knew what they were doing. And I just fit in where they needed the extra help.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of times it doesn't transition easily to the next generation. And so, yeah, I love to work with those kinds of situations. It's not always successful.
Yeah. Okay.
It just doesn't happen all the time. You know, sometimes you'll get a business owner and they'll have 2 or 3 kids and he wants to transfer the business to 2 or 3 kids. We've had some horror stories with that where the kids just didn't get along, or, you know, one of them wanted it, the others didn't. You know, it got complicated in a hurry and just didn't work. So
That's too bad. Too bad.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite business book? And you can't say the United States Code.
Hardly. Hardly. You know, I'm not sure I really have one. I was just looking at my desk here when I was thinking about that one, but there's a book that I took in a class I took at college that was technical writing. And it was basically a writing course for engineering students at KU, but I really enjoyed the professor. He taught me a lot about being succinct, concise about what you're writing. And frankly, we write a lot. We write a lot of letters, we write a lot of emails, we, you know, do lots of things. And that really has been one of the most valuable things I still own, is that textbook from college over there on the wall. And I can't say I really have much in the way of business books otherwise that I really have enjoyed. I read them occasionally, but not real often.
Well, I love the idea of the technical book, but because that the word is still our #1 communication.
Yep.
And you have to communicate with agencies and legal and all kinds of different things, other accountants, attorneys. So I think that's important. I'm glad you brought that up. I wouldn't have thought of that, but it makes a lot of sense. Well, last question. Do you have anything else that you want to add before I ask you my last question?
Not sure that I do. That sounds
okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's the best way for people to find you? So you're located in Wichita, Kansas, but virtually you can talk to anyone.
Right. And we have clients that are all over the place. There may be some clients that used to live here at one time and moved away. We just continue to do work for them. And it's not unusual for us. I have one guy that lives in Austria. You know, so, I mean, we were looking it up the other day. We have done over the course of these 30 some years, about 35 different state tax returns as well. So not that many every year, but we have done a lot of state tax returns, which just indicates our clients are all over the place sometimes.
All over the world now.
Yeah. So the internet, we think, is a pretty good way to find us. And we have actually been surprised by some of the referrals and information we get just by having a website. And people will Google, you know, CPA Wichita or something like that. And maybe we end up on the list and they call us. Maybe they like our website, you know, you know, that kind of thing. We've been surprised how many clients we have gotten just by having what I think is a pretty good website. And
it sounds like you probably get back to them.
Oh, yeah.
Correct. Second most successful thing a person can do besides having a great website is actually replying to someone who inquires.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So and of course, as a CPA who likes to dot the I's and cross the T's, you're going to follow through. Try to. Dollar in the follow through.
Keep the client happy. They'll tell somebody else about you.
Yeah, for sure. Are you on any social media platforms, LinkedIn or Facebook?
I am on LinkedIn. I don't do a lot there, but I have done some. I use Facebook a little bit. I've been using Twitter, and I'm now wondering whether I want to continue using Twitter.
Okay, good to
But I
know.
do, there's also a blog on my, I
Okay,
just recently redesigned our website, and I have a blog related to that now. And
oh,
so
wonderful.
sometimes I'll blog posts, I'll refer back to a post on Twitter to get them to the blog.
Okay, what's your Twitter handle?
At Old Town CPA.
Ooh, that's a great one. So for people who watch this or read this video, you're in downtown Wichita, which is at one time was kind of vacant, and now it's alive and well and thriving. And you can tell by the video that you're in a brick building, and has the original brick and everything in it, and that's perfect. Old Town CPA.
It's been fun.
Yeah, that's
We
great.
moved here about 8 years ago and have enjoyed it.
Good. What's your web address?
JamesRogersCPA.com.
Okay, JamesRogersCPA.com. Okay.
No D in Rogers.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for this interview. I found it to be very interesting. I love the things that I thought were really interesting was the technical writing piece, and then how long you have been in business and how many states you've done returns in. I think others will find that interesting too. So I will let you go for now, and I'll talk to you later. Jim
Thanks.
Rogers with James F. Rogers CPA PA, located in Wichita, Kansas.
Thanks, Lee.
You bet. Have a great day.
You too.